How's everybody doing? Okay, so this is just a quick pro tip on how to fade a stock color on one of your rolling stock pieces, or your locomotive for that matter. And what I mean by pro is, like, it's not like, it doesn't mean that it's like an advanced technique or anything. It just, pro actually just means that a person gets paid for doing whatever they do. That's all that means, really. So you can be an amateur modeler as well to do this. There's nothing really secret about it, but as far as this paint goes right here, Tamiya X-21 Flat Base, this is a color that, or a medium that people usually pass over because they don't know how to use it. They say, oh, I went to go put a flat coat on my car and it went all white on me, and they panic, right? But this is a great medium for fading. You can mix it with colors too, and I'll just show you here quick. So I just topped this up with isopropyl alcohol, 99%. And then what I do is I just paint it on with a brush. Right over top of, doesn't matter what it is really, as long as it's dry. Decals if you want, or and then you'll see what happens, how quickly it turns. So what's going to happen there is it's going to go all milky and chalky like this, right? So this is what you do. I take a round blender brush here. Just an oil, like oil brushes work good too. Just one with some stiff, short bristles. And you just start working it off. It just falls away. It's really just like a type of talcum powder. And it does a really nice fade, like a nice blend and a fade to the paint and the registry marks and labels and so on. It's just really great stuff. If you like to just work with a brush, this is really nice medium to begin with, or somewhere in between some of your layers. This car's had quite a few layers. I've used it for demo before, and I want to actually fade this car down a bit more. So that's all it is really. And then where you get white, I mean, sometimes it's desirable to get some white into the engraving and into cracks and crevices and stuff. But if you want to make that go away, I'll show you how easy it is. And this is all non-toxic too, right? There's no smell to it, and it's easy on the lungs, especially when you get a little bit older in this game. And then I'll just show you what you can do with a wash here. See how that's starting to turn already? Scary, eh? But it just brushes off like chalk on the chalkboard, but leaves the paint really faded. Doesn't matter what color you put this over. You can add color to it. You can experiment with it as well. Okay, so I'm going to take a little bit of this here Vallejo burnt umber. With a bit of water, right? See, it adds a real nice toothy texture to the surface. Okay. I never used to be a big fan of acrylic paints in my early days. Of course, they weren't that popular, but Tamiya was around, but I mean just water-based paint. but now I'm a big fan. Especially these type with the eyedropper. I just love it. You can just drop a bit of paint into the paint tray. There's no fiddling about with caps, and the craft paint is good too if you're into craft paint, but I like the quality pigment here, the really good quality pigment. So yeah, you can just keep playing around, right? Like you can, like, for those of you that are a little bit afraid to do this to a car, like just find one of your cheaper cars, man, and just have at her. And you can't really go wrong, right? Like, I mean, you can actually, if you don't like this later, you can come at it with isopropyl alcohol and just start wiping it away. And then you'll really like what happens, right? So yeah, see how it hangs up more here? The colors hang up a little bit better once you lay down this Tamiya flat. It clings to the model better. And starts to dry and have a really nice tone to it. So, you know, play around, try it out. It's this Tamiya Flat Base X-21. Paint it on, let it go all white, then brush it all off, and then put a water-based wash over top of it. And you'll really like the finish as it starts to dry, right? Like, look at it here. See there? Nice, beautiful fade. Okay. And then as you can see, I'm doing it with my Locomotive here too. All right. I'm just doing the final layers here. So I'll show you. I'm just going to work it off like this. Let me zoom in a bit for you. Just any stiff brush. This one's called Princeton Select Round Blender, number 6. This stuff just puts in another matte kind of fade layer that's really nice. It's all about layers. Movie special effects are the same way. It's all about layer after layer after layer, because the real world is like that, right? It's highly detailed. There's just so many layers of light and color and dust and rain and dirt and grime. And so I'm almost getting to the end with this one, but I'm really liking this one, how it's working out. And then I can clean up those white areas if I don't want, with another little light wash on there. And you can see here where I had that issue earlier, where I had a problem where the isopropyl ate through. Well, I just put some of this flat base on, and look what it's done. It's healed it, and it's ready for prime time, right? See that? You can tone that down. You know, you got your flat spray too. You know, there's just the mediums that are out there, like acrylic base and oils. Sky's the limit what you can do. This is Tamiya Flat Base. I know it's scary at first, but when you start to rub it away, it does something to other layers below too in a subtle way that's really, really nice, right? You get that real pro look of weathering, eh? I can put a dark wash on that. Here, I'll show you what happens when I put just a wash of, here's some burnt umber. Watch. That's just water-based right there. You can put layer after layer like this till the cows come home.